The reality is everyone can't just quit their job and go start a business and become an entrepreneur, right? People questioning our prices, people questioning our qualifications and our worth and what have you. And that impacts our earning potential and our success as business owners.
Well, welcome to Spotlight Voices. My name's Natalia Nicholson. I'm the founder of Women in Digital Business, and I am coming to you pretty much daily right now with the wonderful speakers at the top 100 most powerful Black women summit. Okay, Spotlight Voices are giving you the opportunity to meet all of our speakers, to find out more about them and make sure you've got your ticket or you've got a link to be able to access these 100 masterclasses. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the wonderful, cool, collective, knowledgeable, I would say you are like the oracle, Michele Shelton. Michele, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and your journey.
Hello, Natalia. It is so great to be here with you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And, I have nothing but the best to say, think and pray for you. So it is just an amazing opportunity to be a part of the top 100 most powerful Black women. And I am excited about what is going to happen next week and beyond. So I am here, just to share a little bit about my experience. I have been serving as an international speaker, author, and executive coach. I work primarily with executive leaders and entrepreneurs on helping them to really understand how to show up more authentically. So we focus on transformative inclusion and really helping them to advance who they are. I have, for over 25 years now, I just realized I'm celebrating an anniversary. So 25 years been in the space of promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, fighting for justice in the workplace and our communities, and it is just it's been a labor of love. I will say I've worked across all three sectors. I've worked in government, I've worked in business and nonprofits, and had an opportunity to really help folks to understand how it is that we need to bridge gaps and come together to support each other while we're in that space that we spend the majority of our time, and that is our workplaces. So in doing all of that, at one point I made the decision to come out of organizations and organizational control, if you will, around that particular area, and decided to go out on my own and start a consulting firm where I'm able to speak about what's happening in our world in the way that I feel called, led, and committed and convicted to, and then also do whatever I can to help those individuals who want to be a part of making all of our experiences better, do whatever I can to help them to make sure that they first take care of self as they then look to take care of others. So it's been a blessing, and I am grateful to be able to share with you what I've learned just throughout my journey with you and all of the audience that's going to be there with us next week.
I absolutely love that. And I think one of the things that our audience is going to be really curious about, or they're going to want to know, where you're coming from and what your experience was. With what's going on in America at the moment, this little man called Trump has come along and, he spouted about DEI, EDI. He's gotten rid of a whole load of government contracts, and that's had a knock-on effect to the private sector also getting rid of a lot of DEI, EDI. And it's really affected Black women. Many Black women have been made redundant. They've found themselves out of a job. And I think rather than going back in the workforce for the first time ever, we are just seeing more and more Black female entrepreneurs. The fact remains, even before this, we were always starting our businesses the most out of any other group. Okay, we support economies globally. So that is America, Europe, Canada, Australia, all over the West, even Africa. Black women start the businesses at the fastest rate and they get the least support. Not just with funding, but in all areas. We're left to figure it out by ourselves. And when it comes to audiences, we're often going to a lot of different audiences. What was it like, Michele, when you made that transition out of corporate into your own business? Like, how was that for you? Because I think a lot of women would be really interested to know that.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you asking the question. I want to say that when I made the decision to come out, It had a lot to do with me feeling in my spirit that where we are right now politically in society, that this climate was headed. It was coming for us. And I had always been in government not to be a politician and not to serve my own personal agenda, but I had been there because my goal was to make sure that as public servants we were held accountable, and then also that we prioritized the needs of the people, and that the people had the knowledge, the resources, the information to be able to utilize the support and the resources within government to be able to achieve the quality of life that they wanted. That's what drove me. I was there to serve the people. And what I started to see was there was a lot of shifting happening with regard to the focus no longer being about the people, but about, again, personal agendas. And one of the things that I learned through my career is no matter what you're doing, where you are, especially in politics, you will come to a fork in the road where you have a responsibility to make a decision when you're met with this proposition of, will you do whatever it takes to survive, or will you stand true to who you are and follow your convictions? And I got to that place in about 2010, 2009 actually, to be exact. And I had a decision to make. Was I going to do what was necessary to just fall in with the status quo, ignore what I knew needed to happen in the space, or would I go ahead and again stay true to who I was? And I chose to stay true to who I was. Now, I will say I had no idea where I was going and what that was going to lead me into, but my faith kept me grounded, and I knew that I was here for a greater purpose. And I just trusted. I had to trust. I had to surrender to the process. I trusted that, God would lead me where I needed to go. I'm a woman of God. And I keep that at the forefront. I do not shy away from that. That's who I am. So, in doing that, I went out, everybody tells you, hey, when you get out there, you can start your business. If you build the right network, find your tribe, you get access to the systems that you need, put everything in place, you can be successful. Well, that's not always the case. Because the reality is, it is truly a process. And there are days when I shuddered and said, what have I done? I had family and friends who were like, why did you leave that good job? I was making a great salary. And I was also a single mom at the time. But I just trusted, it was whatever I had to do was going to be worth it. For me to be able to show up and feel like I could be myself in whatever I was doing, for me to be able to lay my head down on the pillow at the end of the day and know that I had been authentic in terms of who I was, and I had done my very best in trying to make a difference in whatever it was that I was doing, and that I didn't have to compromise myself. Yeah. That was the thing that was so important to me. And being able to do that did mean that there were days and nights where I had to wonder where the next meal was going to come from for me and my son. And but I knew that at the end of the day, my self-dignity, my self-respect, my self-worth was worth it. Now, I never allowed, any situation where we were going to be destitute and go without, which is why I had to make sure that folk around me not only knew what was going on, but they understood why it was that I was making that decision. And I was blessed to have people around me during the time who understood, and they did not question it. They not only believed in me, but they believed in my faith, which was my source for keeping me going. So, that was good. And there were, challenges with regard to figuring out how to start the business. Where do you get the capital? How do you figure out what you're going to do that's really going to make a difference? I wondered, who's going to listen? What do I have to say? But I had some people who reached out to me who had been familiar with the work that I had done in my career, the impact that I had made. And they said, hey, what are you doing now? And there were a couple folks who said, hey, come and help us out. And at one point in time, I'll have to say, Natalia, it got so challenging that I thought, well, maybe I need to go back into an organization. Yeah. And I did that at the request of a senior executive who, again, was familiar with my work. And I went in with the intention of, okay, I spent several years trying to have my business, and the ebbs and flows of being an entrepreneur, right? It's feast or famine. We always talk about that. And that's true. It's real, right? So, but I said, okay, let me go on back in here to get the steady paycheck, do what I need to do. And once again, I was met with a system that told me I needed to stay in my place, told me that I needed to do whatever it took to be able to maintain the status quo. We can talk about change and progress, but, at the end of the day, it's about, making sure that you're playing the game. I don't play when it comes to me or the people that I see who are in need. So for me, that didn't work. And what I realized is I've been called to something that is greater than me. And I've been called to something that requires me to stay in tune with the voice that I hear, the spirit that I feel, and the purpose that I know that I've been created to serve. And I'll talk a little bit more about my journey in terms of getting to that point and finally, realizing that, hey, I needed to come out of that other situation because I need the freedom. Yeah. And faith and freedom, those are values that are just non-negotiable for me. And doing that is what's led me to where I am now. And I have to say it was the best decision that I ever made.
That was really powerful. And I tell you something, God is good.
You know, and don't say all the time. I'm like all
the time. Yeah.
Right? The faithfulness. And there will be, I'll be talking a little bit about that too. So, because I feel like as I do this work that I have been doing, I'm at another place of transition. I'm at another place of reinvention. And the more that I come into who I think I am, the more I learn about what else there is, right? Yeah. So in the session next week, I'll be making an announcement about where we're headed, what this next iteration is going to be like. So I'm looking forward to that. And folks, when you come on out, you'll hear more about it.
Oh, absolutely love it, Michele. I tell you what I love about you, you're real. You are so real. Because on this entrepreneurial journey, sometimes when you speak to some coaches, especially the 7 and 8 figures, no one wants to talk about when it was difficult. Okay, no one wants to talk about when you had to go without. No one wants to talk about when you felt like you was walking in despair and you didn't know what was going to happen. And it's one of the things that I love from you. And if you're listening to this, I'm telling you, if you join Michele's masterclass, you're not only going to get her realness, and also, as you can already hear, she paints a realistic picture. Sometimes I get so frustrated when I hear people talk about the entrepreneurship journey and what you should do to get to 7 figures, and all you got to do is follow these 3 simple steps or get a cheat sheet. Rubbish. Sorry, absolute rubbish. And I love the way that you've come on here and you shared with us what it looked like coming from corporate America, running your own business. And I agree with you, Michele. Even me, I had to go back into consultancy and working and contracting at certain times within my career. A lot of people would say, oh, life looks really great, you're so lucky. That word lucky. We worked. That's not luck. That's proof of work, and that's hard work. So if you really want to learn about that transition and how to go about it and how you could possibly work with Michele, but one of the things that is you're going to be really blessed is her realness. She is going to be able to walk you through your journey, but you're going to be prepared about what's ahead. She's going to give you the tools so you are prepared. The worst thing is when someone tells you there's going to be a whole bed of roses, and when them hard times hit, it's not nice if you haven't been prepared for it. So make sure you click the link in the comments. Make sure you join the top 100 most powerful Black women summit. And like I said, it is from the 20th to the 25th of October, but these masterclasses are going to be available. This is over the next 6 weeks. So even if you're watching this and the summit date's gone, please make sure you still click the link in the chat, in the comments, because you'll be able to access all of the masterclasses and Michele's masterclass. So Michele, without giving too much away, what can we expect from your masterclass?
Well, I can say this, the power to be authentically me, reinvention by intention, is the title of the keynote that I will be delivering. And here's the point, the whole reason why we're doing this summit is because we recognize that as Black women, we have a very unique experience in this world. And when we talk about the entrepreneurial journey as well as the executive journey, being a leader in organizations, as I'm coaching women, I'm constantly hearing over and over again about the unique challenges, all of the hoops we have to jump through, the things that we have to do, from masking to code switching to what have you. So when we're talking live in the keynote, one of the things I'm going to be talking about is that experience and the toll that it takes on you, and how do you navigate, all of those challenges that come your way to get to the point to where you're able to make a decision. The reality is, everyone can't just quit their job and go start a business and become an entrepreneur, right? And those of us who have, as Black women, our experience is different. We don't always have the earning opportunities as our white counterparts. We have to deal with a number of things, people questioning our prices, people questioning our qualifications and our worth and what have you. And that impacts our earning potential and our success as business owners. So we're going to have a real conversation just about how do you navigate making the decision? How do you deal with what what comes your way as a result. And then also for those who can't just say, I'm going to leave my job, or maybe they don't want to because they love their job, but they still have challenges that they're facing. We'll talk about what you might need to do, because reinvention doesn't always mean that you have to leave and go do something completely new. It might mean that you just need to show up brand new where you are. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that everyone who's coming is looking forward to it. And I promise that when you leave, you'll have something that you can hold on to that'll help sustain you in the days ahead.
Absolutely amazing. So Michele, before we let you go, quick fire round. I've been doing this with all the speakers, and don't worry, I blindsided all of you and not prepared you. But it's just a quick fire round. Okay? Are you a tea or a coffee drinker?
Oh, tea, absolutely.
Oh, you like the English.
I did try Dulce de Cinnamon by a local coffee spot here, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was iced coffee, and I said, okay, maybe every now and then, but tea for sure for me.
Love it. Like I said, that's our national drink for the Brits.
Yes.
So, absolutely love it. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, truly a night owl.
Yeah,
that
me
is
too.
just when everything gets going for me.
Yeah, me too. Like when the world's asleep, it's like there's that moment.
Yeah.
I know I'm meant to do it in the morning, but me too as well. So I resonate with that. And lastly, if you could give one life hack, what would that be?
You know, the thing that's been working for me lately is I used to be in and out of personal calendar for my husband and my family and everything we needed to do. Then I had my work calendar. I learned from another coach that one calendar is best. So I put everything on one calendar, personal, work-related, what have you. And then the other thing that I will say from a personal life hack is we're all busy. Entrepreneurs, workers, stay-at-home moms, what have you. We're all busy. And I think that, I was just talking with you about this earlier. It's important for us to make sure that we set aside time for us. So, the other thing that I would say is, at 7 o'clock in the evening, my phone goes off and it goes to the side. And I'm very intentional about making sure that I disconnect, shut everything down, and just really take time to just settle into my evening. So that's the other thing, is no matter what's going on, no matter what you're doing to save the world, make sure that you always set aside some time for you every single day.
Oh, love it, Michele. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Love you. Like I said, make sure you click that link. Make sure you attend Michele's masterclass. Michele, thank you so much for hanging out with me, to speaking to the audience. I'm so excited about what's about to come at the summit. And just looking forward to it. So without further ado, I will see you on the next Spotlight Voices, and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.